Ba-dum-ba-da-bam. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing really well. I'm feeling really good this week about what we have to look forward to. I hope you all are as well. Happy August, everybody. Let's take a look at charts together. By the way, if you are watching along, Aqua Fresca check. Stay hydrated. And as well, hit the like button, right? Not for my ego, but for the algo. That's what it is. Good to see you, Trade Spawn. Good to see you, Katie Babes. Good to see you, Jay, Corey Burke, Christy, Frostcrest, Amber, Corey, Sunjo, Kojak. Good to see you, Scott Pal, Joe Peddler, Super Cashy, Smug Slugs, Frostcrest, Epiphany, and all y'all, D Harker, everybody that's out there. Everybody that's out there. Let's go, says here. Let's go. Ooh, romance novel vibes with that hair. My day gets better as soon as I see your smiling face. Smash that like and the LFG. I had my 30th birthday over the weekend. Who's that? Who's that? Christy, mate, good on you. Happy birthday. Woohoo! Dream of retiring in your 20s is dead. That's right, life goes on though. Hey, good day everybody. Hit that like, let's go. So, I have to position myself so I'm visible. Camera's in the wrong angle. Everything just rushed it on here today. What we're going to be doing here, if you're just joining me, might have to change that camera angle. What we're going to be doing here, if you're just joining me for the first time today, is technical analysis on our favorite stocks and crypto. And I'll be back in just a sec. Just had to close the window so it's not so noisy. Change the camera angle so it's not so angular. Right, Grudwan, good one. Happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday from everybody. I'm sure there's more people. 10,000 subscribers. Got to be birthdays all the time, right? Good to see you, Mighty Red. Good to see you, Thug. Good to see you, Space Banana. Good to see you, everybody. Woohoo! Retiring in mid-20s. Oh no. Well, you've always got your 30s, mate. You've always got your 30s. Right. So yeah, look at that space background, spacey, space backgroundy. Let's see. Can I get the browser to work? I saw this very interesting post. Is that one? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Saw this very interesting post. Right. That's my browser. Okay, and here we have it. So GME starting off, right? We'll take a look at GME. We'll take a look then after this for a couple of minutes here, then a couple of minutes on AMC and a couple of minutes on crypto. We'll run through all the crypto stuff. All before markets actually open up. Can you believe it? Big promises you're making here, Rocky. I know. That's the 15-minute chart. We were inside this wedge type formation here on GME. We're looking to see this come up and challenge the top end of this at some point. Whether this top end is drawn in correctly or not is of course a debate. Maybe that's already happening. Bing, bing, bing. Well, we're going to have to wait and see how the days open up. I'm just going to remove this from the charts, right? Even though it's there for a reason. Just removing that, so that we can see, a little bit more clearly how this end of, how this phase has been going along, because it's come down and it's kind of flattened out a little bit here at the bottom, right? Worth acknowledging, I would say, the bullish divergence that we've got there, decent enough. Can we see some positivity this week? I'm feeling positive, right? I'm feeling positive. I'm definitely feeling positive. Now, whether that's irrational or not remains to be seen. But that's where I am just now. Okay, here's AMC. AMC, bada bing, bada bee. Why, Aaron? Why? Adam Aaron. Mr. Adam Aaron. Why? Why would you go around posting on Twitter that you can't validate any sort of ideas about the MOAS? Just keep your mouth shut, mate. Anyway, I know that you can't, and that legally what you said is completely true, and and all that good stuff, right? So at least that's that discussion point cleared up, and it's pretty good. It's handy for us in terms of being on the receiving end of all that data to have a point to reference and say, well, look, officially this is the stance that AMC themselves are taking, and they obviously can't do anything legally beyond what they're doing there for the case in that sense. And it would remain then, I suppose, kicks the ball back into the shareholders' court to say, well, maybe the shareholders need to kind of demand a share recall or something like that. Anyhow, that's all a debate for other people to have. We were looking at this triangle yesterday, Friday, and asking about whether or not we are in or outside of it. Woo, whoop, whoop, leapt in. Hey, 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 my friend, what's this? 10 buckaroonies. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us and for everything you do in this community. Hey, Cal Drogo's let himself go, says Sanjo Kojak. All right. Yeah, well, what's she called? Miri Mazdur. She tried her best, brought me back, but I'm still just a crayon snorting lunatic. Right. Yeah, so did we break outside of this? Do we have to go and explore down the whys a bit more? Do we have to go and explore down the whys a bit more? Actually, you know what? Just there on that GME topic, before I go away from it, did I have the wedge open on the show last week, or was that just from the Discord chat? Not 100% sure how that went. Certainly had a rectangle up on screen during the TA. Oh, it was at the very end that I stuck the wedge on. Aye, that was it. Yeah, the rectangle pattern, by the way, you'll be curious about whether or not that rectangle pattern that I was talking about, whether or not the measured move was struck off of that, and it was. We hit that perfectly, and then and that's where we found our bottom, by the way. As it happens. Anyway, here's AMC, our favourite movie theatre, where we go to eat popcorn. And yeah, is this pattern all that good or whatever? Well, it started in terms of moving outside of this zone, but we obviously know about fake out territory here on the show. We talk about it all the time. You got to look towards your previous lows and highs just as a starting point. So anything in this region here is in that sort of that zone there. I've tried to do like road marking style here. Anything that within this section can just be kind of considered fake out territory. Of course, that extends way over to the right. That's a lie, I suppose. Really, it shouldn't really be that far over to the right. More like that. So anything in this zone here is kind of like fake out territory. So we're still kind of waiting to see how that goes. If we do then just push back inside of it, then maybe we're not looking at that in terms of the connecting up using this initial kind of low down here on the 16th of July. This is just a 15-minute time frame, by the way, so we're not like going crazy on it. And instead just looking at this region just here, and it makes it easier for us to get touches along the bottom. There's certainly 3 of them. Then for the top side, is this going to let me edit this thing? Because there's something weird with that line. Just a new one. Right. So then over here, how do we get these touches along the top? Kind of, just a little bit kind of wedgy here in this section. We'll see how this goes. My overall anticipation at the minute for this one is kind of along these lines more so than anything else, I suppose, really at the minute. But we'll just wait and see, of course, for how things go. That's just this is just us looking at it in short-term timeframes. By the way, from the longer-term timeframes, that's analysis that we can do later on in the show. But that's just us kind of getting prepped. Extended hours on this thing. Wait a minute, can you see shit? You can see stuff. Whew, thank goodness, right? Just realised though, just on time, kind of before I went too far into it, too deep, that you can't see the price bar crap on the right. Right. There was something I saw as well. Somebody suggested, so I'll just see, can I put the symbol on the right? Where's that one? Adjust, price zone, scales, symbol name label. Is that going to show up? Where is it? Where's symbol name label? Oh, it says it there in green. AMC, sweet. So now people can see that. At least they can see what we're looking at. Right, cool. So that's cool. That's that kind of taken care of. Right. Yeah, cool. So we have 17 minutes before the market's actually open. Rocky Outcrop with the banner. We can't see the price levels on the graph. Yeah, figured that out. I figured that out. The price levels are necessary, of course, but I was really just looking at this in terms of the visuals and the shapes to begin with. So on that note, AMC prices above 36 we're kind of happy with, right? That's kind of where that is, looking kind of towards the $40 area before we really start to kind of, you know, say that we've changed anything at all. We need to be above $40 or indeed below 36. We are obviously a lot closer to 36 than 40 in terms of, well, in terms of any way you want to measure that. GME over here, these lows we came down to, that was 158. Whew, you know, wicking in down here. Now we did, of course, close in lower in terms of these 15-minute. Did we actually? No, equal lows even on the 15-minute time frame. I was about to like scroll up through the time frames and make a comparison here, which is showing us, you know, for instance, the 4-hour time frame that we haven't put in equal lows quite yet. It's close. It's close, but it's not quite there really. Although to be fair, I mean, these are closing prices and these are opening prices. I mean, we're pretty close in terms of closing prices there, in terms of an equal low, and that's represented on that 15-minute time frame, obviously. So that's all in about that 160 region. You know, we want to be in the 160s and up above, just to kind of get that positivity rolling for the week, and then we can start to look up the way thereafter. What I'm wanting to see here, of course, is like a decent start to the month. I suppose as well, 15 minutes before markets open, might as well just kind of bring up the old monthly time frame here, show us that, of course, we did drop down below that 236. That there is drawn in on this, on up to this high, which was the one following on from the whole January kind of disaster zone. If I just pop that up to the real kind of high in terms of the actual prices that were, you know, bought and sold at, just use the magnet tool so I don't have to kind of think about things as much. Yeah, there, we know we're obviously evidently very low below the 236. You know, we've not invalidated this Fibonacci retracement as yet. That's sitting in there at $270, you know, so this would be obviously an ideal place to push to in terms of the month. Where we could see lows coming in at, you know, for example, if we were to push down to the 50% retracement area, you're looking at 134. 135, and we're obviously between those zones at the moment, but it's maybe worth pointing out that we've just kind of, you know, it was a couple of months ago now, obviously 3 months ago now, but we've only just really crossed over here in terms of the these two moving averages. You know, it's been quite a long time in the making. This the 200 simple coming in here and just sloping up now. So in terms of the massive grand thesis for this, you know, and us saying that this is in a bullish stance and could be, of course, a really good, strong performing company over the period of number of years, etc. This is telling us what we want to see on that front. But anyway, you know, we did just close out the monthly, so we're looking for a new monthly to open up here. Will we see a wick on the lows of that month? I suppose that's something to consider in terms of what we've got on the go. We can see, of course, this month that we had very low, very, very close, you know, in terms of the bodies and the wicks. The wicks only went up an extra sort of few dollars and down an extra few dollars from where the bodies from the body on this. You know, it's an interesting kind of one. That will we see a lower wick here on this one? Well, I would like to have a flat bottom on a candle, but yeah, I suppose these are the things that we need to kind of think about. AMC, how's it looking on its monthly? And yep, right. You know, not engulfing or anything like that. We obviously, that's very, very positive. And generally speaking, you know, staying above that $26 zone and not taking out the wicks of that low on that previous month, and then moving up the way. If we're just going to like if we're going to have wicks, etc., then that, I guess, we're to look to. But we've got more to talk about. 13 minutes left before markets open, so I'm going to actually do a quick crypto summary here. I've not looked at the crypto charts yet, but that doesn't stop me from making an episode about it. Let's just go ahead. In fact, 2 minutes before we do that, let's just catch up with the chat. Congratulations, Kimmy Yo, got your job. Super happy for you. Hope it goes really smoothly as well. Ook. Morning, Rocky, says Simon. Good to see you, pal. Dan Weldo, squarer candles, these rectangles. Yes, indeed, the rectangles. Yes, nice. Good punning. Good punning, friend. D. Harker says Dave Grohl's let himself go. Right. Woof. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, great. Brady Pearl. Good morning, Rocky. Hello, y'all. Good luck to everyone this week. Yes, great stuff. Excellent. People just joining me. I'm Rocky Outcrop, feeling pretty positive about GME and AMC this week. This is in the face of course, you know, a long bearish process of shakeout that's happened since highs. We've had all sorts of discussions, ascending triangles, cup with handles, etc. And we've dragged everything out through a month where the body closed so low to the low wicks, you know, really dragging it right through to the end of the month. Hopefully then, therefore, this month is a lot better, feeling a bit positive, hoping for a nice positive week here and in the start of August. Now we're going to take a look at crypto, and I'm going to record this crap and put it out on the old YouTube, right? Hi friends, my name's... Oh shit, I need to hit the record. Right, sorry. Hi friends, Rocky Outcrop here, crypto technical analysis coming right at your pie holes. Remember, hit that like button. It helps me because it helps the algorithm. It's not for my ego, of course. We're going to be taking a look at the crypto charts. This isn't one of them. This is one of the other things I look at, AMC, and of course I look at GME on a daily basis. A couple of really good stocks that you might be interested in, but we're going to be taking a look at the crypto market, starting off, of course, by looking at Bitcoin versus USDT. That's the monthly close, of course, that we had over there on this one. A bit of a decent month actually overall, when you consider that we didn't actually, you know, really it was a big feck off green month actually. Sorry, here you can see we've just started the new month of August, and it's pulled back a little bit so far, but everything's actually, you know, looking pretty good. When we jump down to the 24-hour time frame, you can see that we came up, tested that 200 more or less, and pushed back down. So we're going to be covering that and a lot more in the period of the next couple of minutes. We'll also look through Ethereum. Here's something I just typed in ETH. What's that? That's CryptoCap. Well, anyway, that's the wrong chart, but you get the point. We're going to be looking at Ethereum, Chainlink, and Tezos, and Bitcoin here in this one. So I'm going to give you a second to hit that like button, right? Here's my intros. That's my name, Rocky Outcrop. You know, I do more than crypto technical analysis, but that's what I used when I made the thing. Right, so if you've not hit like yet, then there's no convincing you to do it, so I'll just move on. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for joining me, all that good stuff. Right, so here's Bitcoin. No, that's not Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin. BTC, USDT. And by the way, if you're in the live chat right now, and this is filmed during a live episode, chuck in any requests you have during this crypto section. We've got 10 minutes. It's going to be less than 10 minutes, but if you want me to take a look at anything, be sure to say so. You can see we've moved up here. Easy, obvious question is this at the 236 Fibonacci retracement point? Now, I do like a Fibonacci retracement myself. I think that it's a really, really, really good way of expressing the movements in markets for us to be able to kind of view it, conceptualize what would be a significant move. You know, when you see a pullback happening, you think, well, is this a pullback? Is it a correction? What's happening? Is it just a little retracement? And you want to try and answer that question, then the Fibonacci retracement tool is very much your friend. And we can see that we pulled all the way back down here right to the kind of the penny value of the 236 Fibonacci retracement point. Now, what that means, the significance of this 24-hour time frame here, Bitcoin USDT, is that, of course, we have not got a valid Fibonacci here at the minute. This is just kind of your shallowest typical retrace that you'd be likely to see coming in there. The 236 Fibonacci residing at around about 39k. Okay, so long as the prices are above 39k, we're looking fairly rosy, very, very good. We can see the resistance coming in here at 42,000. I mean, you know, hey, Rocky Outcrop Show, we told you all about this. We knew that. You knew it, right? I told you very clearly. I even think I said afterwards, don't be coming to me saying that I didn't tell you. Right? So if we were to bounce from here, natural, nice, and everything else, but I would be managing my risk there. I've got this liquidity zone in the background, so, you know, just being aware of that. Kind of personally, I'm looking at 38k as kind of the cutoff point on that one. We could then maybe look for bounces at 36,666 or 35,290. Confluence here with a 50 simple moving average on the 24-hour time frame, or indeed all the way down to where the 618 golden pocket resides, and that's coming in at around about where you would expect to see a higher low should we actually be turning this around on the broader term time frame. Anyway, we are looking for that higher low right now. Is it conceivable we get one at this point? Yes, it absolutely is. Are you more confident when you've got a higher low that came in at the 382 then moved up? Yes. Is it therefore a tastier buy at 36,666 than it is now? Well, far be it from me to say so, because I'm not a financial advisor and none of this is financial advice. Looking at the momentum oscillators down below, you can see clearly that we've come in here with a good dose of momentum. If you were to see big pullbacks, you could make the case for bearish, hidden bearish divergence here along these tops as this being a downward trend. The last low was, of course, a lower low. Therefore, the key component for us course, right now, having put in a high, I mean, you're always going to get a high, is to put in, of course, a higher low. That's what we're looking for, and that's the question on this one. So carrying that debate on through, as it happens, by the way, the DMI, you can see just here in the background up above, is, of course, you know, at that, what do you call it? It came up to that 40 area, then went down, crossing below the ADX. I don't mind too much about that at the minute, you know, looking to see if we do get a resurgence. But of course, we knew at 42k that was a profit-taking price point coming in there. This is when we saw it come up and hit that 40. It pushed up a little bit higher for 42. Didn't actually secure it. Obvious, beautiful technical analysis. It was obvious. It was obvious. Obvious. Money on the table for people. What will we go to next? Let's look at Ethereum. I actually see that I've got a request coming in here as well. What does that say from Calipigeon? Well, hey Rocky, any chance of looking at XRP? Cheers. Absolutely. In fact, let's just do that right now because Ethereum. It's boring looking at the technical analysis on that all the time, right? I mean, we've done it, but we'll be back again. XRP, bit different, right? We've not looked at this in a while. How exciting. What's that say up there? Oh, this is when I was explaining how margin calls and all that crap work. Let me just get rid of all this off here. You can see that we do all sorts of technical analysis on the channel, and of course we also do education here, so be sure, you know, tune in, subscribe, all that crap. Here we had this move. Obviously that didn't work out for us at all. I would have positioned this with regards to this resistance here at the point. Anyway, whatever, that happened. We moved on down, and of course there was this cross here, death cross on the daily time frame, the 200 crossing above the 50 simple moving average, and then the price is coming up and of course testing off that 200. You know, typical bearish movement here, to be perfectly honest with you. When we see the prices getting back above the 200 simple, then of course we're very much able to be positive about it. This is perfect really for that consolidation to be happening and to create therefore a point of inflection in the markets. This is going to be one that we look back on and ask questions about. Well, we obviously had it act as resistance just here, over here as well. So, you know, over on the 28th of June it was resistance, over there on the 21st of May, 22nd of May it was support, over there on the 1st of February resistance, over there on the 21st November it was support. So I would say that it's fairly reasonable to say that at this point here we obviously have a key inflection point in the market. This is then of course typical in the sense of bearish movement, in the sense that we've come down and put in lows followed by lower lows, and of course come up here to a resistance point, of course, right? But then again, this last low was bullishly divergent. On those lows on all the oscillators up above. Yeah, all of the oscillators bullishly divergent. We got a decent cross there while the ADX was still in a strength of trend. Therefore, I'm looking for that higher low, right? Why? Low was the last one, was a lower one. Looking up here, this is a high. We're always going to get one. Came into a point where there's obviously profit taking happening, and then we're looking to see where we get a higher low at. Now, if we do see prices continue on from here, that can happen, right? It can happen, but what's typical in markets, of course, is the question that everybody asks. We're still obviously above the 236 over here, so still very bullish in the very short-term time frames on this one. But as soon as you look at it really broadly in the long-term time frame, then you've got quite big questions to ask. Here's the 1 hour time frame just to draw that point out for you a bit more. You can see bullish movement, nice upward bullish move, massive amounts of bearish divergence at the top, pushing on down the way, swing failure, RSI swing failure over here as well. So the idea of there being a pullback at this point, fairly typical, but of course you're looking down towards things like 70, 69 just to see if we get short-term support and a bounce area. Those things probably quite likely, to be honest with you. You can see the 50 simple as well on the 4 hour time frames in at that price point, where we recently just had a bounce actually as well. So it's right happening. So there's an edge here for you, but it's an extremely high risk one obviously as well. You know, the trend could be turning around. This is the perfect time to see it happen, but you know, you want to be buying into that momentum as opposed to obviously the slackening of the momentum, which is we're seeing right here right now. Quality, so that's cool. Yes, nice one. A little bit of the old interesting stuff. We also got a request coming in from Epiphany. Could you please look at VXV, Vector Space AI, please? Thank you so much. And your hair is looking great today. Thanks so much. That's appreciated. Right. Yeah, I can absolutely look at that. I've never heard of this one before. This is unusual for me to have not heard of one. Let's just see quickly what we have here. This is, wait a minute. Is that a stock? VXV, no, VXV, CBOE, not any of them, right? So USDT, I think, is this one that's like on, say, one of the funny ones, like a Uniswap token or something. Let me just see VXV coin market cap. We'll just look real quick for this thing and see what we've got here. Vector Space AI price today, coin market cap. There she has it. Right, so where have we got this thing traded at? Woof, okay, cool. Moved up an awful lot here. You can see it's above those highs. It's never difficult doing technical analysis on a piece of crap chart like this, of course. You can't actually do it if you want to be honest about it. But let we go. Uniswap, yeah. So we want to what's that thing that's a Uniswap trading view clone? Uniswap trading view clone. Just searching the little googly plexes here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. Where is it? Where is it? So I'm looking for a Uniswap clone, by the way. That's what I'm doing right now. For Uniswap, a trading view clone for Uniswap tokens, but it's not showing up on the first page of Thingy. I know that there is one because I've been on it a whole bunch of times in the past. Just can't remember what it is. What they call it. Is this gonna be one here? Ah, crap. Right, sorry, moving on from this one, right? Sorry, just too much time on that. We'll take a look at it in a wee bit if somebody can suggest to me a place to take a look at them. And I will, Christy, I will. Maybe even make a separate clip for it. Maybe I'll edit this one and take that section out so it doesn't disrupt the viewers later, right? Anyway, we'll go and take a look at ETHUSDT. Maybe someone can suggest it. If you want to, you can't type links in there, but you can write, just kind of roughly what the URL is, and I'll do it without the dots and the .coms and whatever. I'll figure it out if you know one off the top of your head. Right. So anyway, here's Ethereum pushed on up nicely. Where are we at the minute? 2,589. Oh, good, nice one, cool. Looking for this higher low again on this one, by the way. Right, clearly looking for this higher low. Nice little head and shoulders there that worked out. Excellent. The channel that worked out here. The same sort of chat. What were we talking about this yesterday? The other day, we were talking about how it's kind of extended in the same way that the SPY has been, and it pushes up in the face of shorter term time frame divergences, etc. Is that were we saying that? Were we saying that? Because I'm pretty sure I should have been saying that and would have been saying that. Anyway, we continue to push on up the way here. That's fantastic. It's a bit of a hard one, this one, because you can see that this is operating in the face of negativity. Pushing past key areas, but it's managing to do things. So keep it simple, Rocky. In this case, staying above this 50 simple moving average this whole time, and fantastic. And we know that the prices are extended. So how about we let this be our canary in the coal mine for us on this one, pushing down past this point again, 2,555, let's call it, and you start to think, quite critically about the price action, needing to kind of manage your risk, probably in at that 2,500 area. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but that's what I would be looking to with this, if you want to buy into this positivity. Up here, undoubtedly, loads of bearish divergence, yes. Again, easy to say, and I'm expecting or anticipating a pullback. We've had the ADX throughout this 1 hour on the 1 hour time frame showing us it's been had the strength of trend. That's ended with this cross. We're back into chop territory again. No real strength of trend to capitalize on for the negative case. This pushing up the way, this is the ADX pushing up like this. It's kind of not so typical in that way. We're seeing it kind of happening in the face of things. Can we get continuation? Yes, we can. I'm obviously starting to feel a lot more bullish about the alternative aspects of the cryptocurrency market. So in this point, I think it's probably worth taking a look real quick at therefore at the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? So over here, Bitcoin dominance chart. And yeah, okay, so it really has struggled in the last wee while. Pushed right up from those lows down there at 44, right up, and it's been coming all the way back down again, but it's gone quite a ways. Look at this, the 200 simple coming in there. I would expect a bit of a bounce here, not that far away. We're talking, not that far away down here, down to 0.5% movement down the way here. Oh, it really does make you wonder about how things could go if that overextended Ethereum price does have a pullback in relation to, say, for example, Bitcoin. Let's then therefore take a look at Ethereum. Bitcoin, wow, really pushed on up here as well. Similar to the Ethereum dollar chart as well, obviously, with that movement. From those lows to those highs, then we can look in roughly and say that the price point of 63 is a big deal for us. 0.063 that is there. For us, a big deal. We've got that downward sloping resistance line as well. Breaking that down below that, well, that would be negative in that sense. Very good though, very good movement from Ethereum. Do we see a pullback in this? Meanwhile, a little bit more to get from the altcoins. So I think it's probably time to look at the altcoins then and see how things are doing. Chainlink, for instance, has it got above that $20 price point, and is it able to sustain it? Oh wow, $22, right? Where did our next profit taking target come in at? Oh, it was just a bit up there. It went up, pushed past 22 to 23.50. Oh wow, and then back down again, and we're at $22 at the minute. So yeah, cool, excellent. Don't know why those scribbles are in there. I wonder what I was talking about last week. That channel's not working out so great. Fantastic, pushing it beyond that. Fantastic, excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Right, good. So the again, still anticipating a pullback, but can we see it sustain prices above $20? You know, that's the turnaround point for us. Let's, instead of analyzing where we are right now in the price, just kind of zoom out a little bit, look back the way, and acknowledge how important this $20 inflection point is. You know, we can do it in a number of ways. One of the ways that I'll do it is just kind of by drawing on it with the old brush tool real quick here for us, so that you can see kind of the zone in this. We had this downward movement here, so then we've gone outside of that. Big deal. I could put a channel around that if I wanted to as well. We had these lower lows coming in, and we've kind of, you know, come in at the point now where we could easily put in a higher low. Look at this depth that we have to travel down. You know, we've got what, like nearly 50%, 40% movement. You could easily drop 30% and still be putting in a higher low. Fantastic. Obviously not so much for those highly leveraged traders, but absolutely fantastic in terms of the macro trend. Of course, exploiting that leverage is exactly how people accumulate in crypto land. Not that dissimilar to stock land as well. So that's cool. And yeah, that's great. So that's the importance of the 20 zone in this area can be described with things. I'm not actually wanting to describe it here with that green line. I'll just remove that as well from the chart. I really just want to kind of show that the $20 area, so it's this whole zone here, is in this zone here. It was when you know, really started to push down the way. Looking over to the left, you can see that was all in this area here where we just shot right through it, you know, and it was kind of putting in the liquidity here, which wasn't there before, as there's this kind of confusion about the markets. Now, had we gone on down below these areas, things got very bad very rapidly, and you're looking at massive percentage moves all the way down as far as, say, $7 or $8. In fact, of course, that's another sort of nearly 40-50% off the price from there. So that's great that is up here, and it's kind of pushed above that zone. This is a whole phase in the market. Some people like to use the word, therefore, to describe these things, of regime, by the way. That's like a thing from, you know, so we've broken outside of that regime, if you like. Right, so that's cool, interesting stuff. Let's check in with Tezos. Now, I already know that Tezos came up to $3 and went back down to $2.90 as well. So that's pretty cool, because we were talking about $3 as being that profit-taking zone. Oh, did it go? It went up to 326. Was that 322 at the minute? Oh, wow, excellent. Last time I checked this, it was at 290. That's cool. So it's had a really good last sort of like 12, 16 hours or so. Cool. And it's found support there at that line that we were talking about as well. Look at the downward sloping kind of line. Now, this was drawn in very casually, but you can see that we've moved up past the zone and then came back in and found support at that area, which was formerly resistance. Wow, fantastic, excellent stuff. So, so is there risk in the crypto market? Yes, there is. Could we see a little bit more kind of bleeding in terms of the Bitcoin dominance chart, just to bring us back down to that 200 simple? Yes, we could. Could that result in a bear trap for some folk? Yes, it could. A bull trap for some folk. Yes, it could. Essentially, in terms of the next week with regards to Ethereum versus Bitcoin, so look out for that. But of course, you know, you can buy into the trend being your friend, and it's there. You know, you can clearly see the trend, which is that Bitcoin has been losing a bit of ground compared to all the alts. It has been. That continues. That's been going on for the last several hours, and you know, could keep going days. And then and that's where we are right now. Right. Let me just check in with the chat there and see. Yeah, I'm coming back over. Oh, fuck, we went way past the time when the markets are opened. Right. Sorry about that. Let's see. Did anybody put in a Uniswap alternative trading view clone here so I could take a look at that coin? Struggles real. That's top chat. I need to have live chat on so I can see it. And if not, whatever, I might even just publish this video with me looking for it. There's a lesson to be had in looking for that. Good morning, FU Money. Good morning, Aprils. Good morning, High 150s. Love the idea of cake coin for no reason other than it's called cake. I mean, everybody loves that. I love it too. Lamal, we really wanted to help you, Epiphany. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody with any suggestions in there. So we'll wrap that up. That's the crypto section done for today. I might add another video on later for that VXV. I'll certainly try and help Christy out with that. Right, nice one. Congratulations to K King, who says, I just got my Coinbase Visa card Saturday afternoon. Quality, nice one. Things are, of course, advancing in the crypto space. I'm a crypto technical analyst and, of course, look at stocks all the time. Join me for a live stream someday. I've been Rocky Outcrop, tuning out just now. I'll roll those intros at the end of this clip. By the way, for people who are watching the live right now, I'm going to keep going on the live. Here's a final opportunity for people watching this static video for to hit like and all that. Right, that was 20 minutes. That was too long. Anyway, cheers. Right. Cool. Okay, so that happened. And the markets are opened. Perfect. Right, let's go take a look at our pals then. How are we getting on? How are we getting on GME first off? Right, starting off the day here, 161. Ooh, nice. Okay, cool. These wee red candles there in the 4-hour time frame, not really showing us an awful lot because presumably that means there was a bit of a gap up movement on there because it's been a red 4-hour candle, but we know that the prices are 161. And you can see that that is indeed the case. Okay, we filled in that gap immediately. Cool, excellent, perfect. What we want to see starting off the day, right? So positivity, hence, you know, that little movement up, filling in the gap for that sort of confidence about the move. Should we then get continuation? Looking, of course, very keenly at 164 immediately in terms of this one. Of course, the fact of the matter is that if we go below 158, then things are pretty pants, and we will, of course, cross any of those bridges should we come to them. AMC, how did you start off? Oh, same story. Gap up, green candle currently, pull back down, filled in the gap. Close enough is close enough. Didn't actually fill it in 100% there in the 15-minute. Let me just indulge by jumping up to the 1-hour time frame and showing that it was more than filled on the 1 hour. I mean, you're starting to get to the point where you split hairs. Now, I've said this before on the channel, and I've said it and I'll say it again, that certainly does actually still have some significance. The fact is that it wasn't 100% filled. It doesn't necessarily matter for us, but it is worth pointing it out. We're in the stage here, we're at the throes of a doji candle. The doji candle, of course, remember, we've talked about this before. You can look at them in a number of different ways. That's the 1 minute candle showing you the movement that we've had so far here. It's obviously represented as a doji. So you can see in the 1 minutes, you know, there's that area down there. If we did come back down and retest this zone, then we'd probably just kind of cheekily fill in that little bit of a gap there if we were to do it. That means that we're looking there between sort of, you know, still looking and saying 37, fantastic price, etc. But we knew that in advance already. We talked about how we were positive before the markets opened up. Now they've moved on up, you know, an extra 80 cents or whatever. I would be super satisfied if that was the best buy price for the day. But of course, that's me all sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows at the minute on things because I'm being positive, right? And that's the 1 minute time frame, 15-minute time frame. You know, we've not even closed this one out yet. Starting off the day, right? Boom, nice one. FU money. We'd love to see some naked TA today. Okay, let's do some naked. Let's get naked. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. Clemens Wellender says GME question mark, and I say yes. GME, yes. That's the answer to your question, Clemens. Yes. Mighty Red, giving me a heart. Thanks so much. Kitty Babes, that's what K King said. Hey. Yep. Corey B, anyone see Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS, be on a very long run? Cool, let's take a look at DKS. Get some dicks in our faces, right? And then Dead Money All Stars, morning all, good morning. Katie Babes, morning Dead Money. Justin Richardson coming in here with a holy Tesla Batman. Right, sweet, excellent. That's a couple of things to look at. So the first one that got popped in there was Naked from FU Money. Let's go take a look at this. This is, of course, where you go for all your sexy bras. Boom, look at that. Almost like one of these things, like I almost don't really need to do much talking at this stage, given what we just looked at on those other charts and where we are here. But there are some nuanced differences. Wonderful stuff. The gap, evidently not filled in on this one. The price point that it went to, bang on to the 200 simple moving average on the 15-minute time frame. A lot of people will be looking at the 15-minute time frame for the first hour of the day. And then after that, you've got a whole load of different traders start picking up their activity in the market. You know, a lot of, in terms of the ratio of who's actually participating in the markets, because there's a lot of people out there who get up before the market's open, do all of their bollocks due diligence, which doesn't work for anything, and then they go and they look at the technical analysis, get real with the due diligence, for however long that is, and then so my advice, stay in bed. But anyway, then they look at the technical analysis, and then they trade for the first chunk of the day, just looking at momentum trading. And if you're interested in that type of thing, you know, someone who I think is maybe the best one of that in traditional markets that's on YouTube, it would be Warrior Trading. He's a guy, he's a ginger looking kind of version of me, from New York, I believe, originally. Yeah, good guy, right? Super expensive to be part of his community and whatever else, though. I've never been a part of it, so I couldn't give you a recommendation on how good or bad it is or whatever else. Just know that he's good at doing what he's doing, and he talks about that type of crap if you're interested in it. Anyway, of course, then he himself and the likes of him will then, of course, diminish the amount of trading that they're doing, and they're the type of people who just don't ever get involved in crazy afternoon trading and don't like the end of the day. They just don't see it as being an opportunity for them, right? That's a type of trader. That's a type of some people. So they obviously depart the markets, and then we're asking, well, what's going on next? So the move has kind of happened to a good degree with this one, and we got to wonder then, is there any real momentum with this opening prices? You know, so the 1 minute candles here on Naked showing us that there is no momentum with this trade to begin the day. There just simply isn't, not as it stands, right? Just got a cross over here on that 1 minute time frame, you know, kind of saying to ourselves, beckoning us like the sirens, "Oh, come to me, prices, come to me, prices." So that's what they tend to do. So let's just kind of see how that one pans out. Interesting stuff. Anyway, regardless, right, we're going to take this as a positive sign, because it is, right? It is. It's a positive upward price movement, and that's cool. But we're going to need to look at it on a bigger time frame, really, to kind of get our chops around this one properly. Here is the 4-hour time frame, therefore, and there's that gap staring us right in the kisser. Are we going to go back in and fill that in properly? You know, we almost did, but let's face it, we didn't. That's where the gap is, and that, of course, would see in terms of this time frame, the price is coming back down to 0.5322. We're at 0.5392 at the minute, so we're talking about the difference of less than a cent. So, you know, for a lot of people, that's going to seem like not that big a deal, but of course we have to not talk about things in absolute value. It's of course relative movements in terms of price and therefore percentages. Anyway, this is decent. What we have here, of course, is this upward sloping line. Nice. We have this downward sloping line. Nice. I'm not going to have to go far to show you examples of when we've seen stuff like this in the recent past. So the technical analysis from there, of course, has a good degree of overlap as we're looking at this one. If we were to operate within that range of this area for the day, wouldn't be too much of a shitting my pants surprise about that one. But if we do actually start to push outside of this zone, I'm going to have to keep a keen eye on the market structure. The 4-hour time frame showing us here the lies of the lower term time frames in terms of these big ass wicks that we're getting in either direction. So if we do push up the way, you know, first off, can we be above 54? Brilliant, but we're not actually going to wet ourselves until we're above 56, 57, right? I know. It's a big enough old range there you get on that sort of thing. A few percent that you're looking at, but that's where we are with this one, because of course it's such low price, low cap, low liquidity, all those things going together. And this thing that was formerly much higher, of course, much higher. So we're I mean, that doesn't even do the story. Let's go up to the weekly time frame. So a lot of people are looking at this as a big old value play, and all of these things just represent discounts as we're talking about this head and shoulders. The question, therefore, at the minute for us is, are we still in a valid head and shoulders scenario? Taking away this and asking questions then about, is this double bottom area here, you know, a valid head and shoulders? And it is. It's fine. It's all fine. It's all totally fine. But we do have to acknowledge that if we were to move outside of this zone here, that of course we're going to have to, like, you know, consider the possibility of us going for a bigger retrace. And what that would be then, therefore, if I just chuck all that in the bin, is from it should be, you know, looking at it from this point of view, saying that, well, the 382 is not enough, or the 50%, sorry, is not enough, and we'd be going down to the 618 or perhaps one of these deeper retrace areas. I'd be more anticipating something like you know, just coming all the way down again to 0.09, which is a massive movement down the way. Huge, super value though. I'm not anticipating that though. I'm actually anticipating a turnaround here in the 50% area. It's totally fine for me to get a bounce on. Weekly time frame, 50 simple moving average, all perfect, great setup. You know, you can kind of split hairs about what value you're going to get, because you absolutely will get 5% better or worse pricing determined on your own personal level of patience. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but I like the look of this chart overall. Hey, AHT says Bad Mama Jamma. Cool, let's just jump on over to that. There was a couple other suggestions, but I don't think that they came in with a super chat, and Bad Mama Jamma just said that, and we were done with Naked anyway. We were done with Naked. Time to put our bras back on. No, more than bras and knickers. Our whole outfit. Right, yeah, this low came in and we talked about this, right? This is bigger term time frame stuff. We talked about this here. This, of course, being lower than the previous low. Not so great. But the dynamic that exists around this is very much one of those typical sort of market maker dynamics that you've got here for a typical square up, where we can see that the price action, which is in this zone, which was, of course, a gap fill, is where we're operating right now. Kind of that hesitancy in the market. This is the weekly time frame, putting in what is 3 weeks where we've operated in the same way. The monthly time frame showing you that we had it all happen in a big kind of one candle, you know, all the way down. And so now we've started up the new month. This is kind of a part of the story of why I'm feeling positive here at the turnaround of the month on the Gregorian calendar. So I'm looking at this and saying, is August going to be the one for us right now? And it would be really good. Obviously, we started off all right so far today then in that front. So let's just jump on down to the 4-hour candles and take a look at that. And you can see that we've actually gapped. We started off down here. We started off here. We pushed on down the way and back up. Great, fine, whatevs. This is a green candle so far. Downward price movement, bearish, right? This is bearish, okay? So then we look at this and we say, but look at all that bullish divergence. Wow, this is ripe for a turnaround. Turnaround, why will be filled in this gap? But what about that as being a lower low? I know it's a lower low. I know it is. But overall, this is not part of what is this downward trend here, and it's convergent, of course, as well, of course, across these two areas. Yes, but sure, convergence on the lows, you know. So that is a bearish scenario. But this is a company which is kind of semi-fucked, right? I mean, it's only got enough cash reserves in there to last through for 18 months. So all the stupid fundamental investors out there looking at it right now are thinking, oh, that's crap, blah, blah, blah. But of course, you know, we also know that they're also saying, but then the world's about to turn around. So they have to negate everything that they think by looking at their balance sheet, by looking at the way the world is right now. And these guys operate bloody hotels, right? They weren't selling any rooms for ages. No wonder they had massive losses. And the losses that they had before were massive, right? You know, this is a green earnings thing, but you're looking at the estimate down here as being, well, that was only 14. Wait a minute. Down here, look at that. Estimate. 152 minus 152. They were 84% better. They were 129 better at just a loss of 22. So, you know, they actually did all right during all of the crap towards the downside. Estimate massive down. It actually ended up being 60 better. That's 40% better. So over here, well, we had a shitty earnings report and it was, you know, an estimate of minus 290, and as reported, it was minus 435. It was a big turnaround in the macro scheme of things, and the surprise being 50% worse than it was. It really is a laughable comparison compared to the previous ones, you know, in terms of the difference. If you're looking at it in terms of, you know, not beyond the percentages and at the absolute values, in terms of how catastrophic carrying those big losses forward would be, regardless of how bloody surprisingly good it was, compared to how much this is diminished off the way. So you know, there's your crap fundamentals analysis side of things to this one. And here in terms of the technicals, you can just see really that there is this bloody good opportunity for a turnaround on the prices, and managing your risk therefore at something like $14, as Bad Mama Jamma and I discussed last week, is obviously something that you can do. You could even do it tighter now at this stage and just talk about taking out that previous wick at 15 at the lower end of that liquidity box. I'm feeling pretty positive on this one. That 4-hour candle's obviously just flicked red. Doesn't really matter too much. So let's go down to the 15-minute time frame though and see if we've got any sort of divergences or anything coming in here with this. This is low and lower, and that's fine. You could make a comparison across time. In fact, you know what, on this thing here, I'm going to have to bump up the look back period to being bigger, and I'm going to get loads of overlap here on this one, but I'm going to have to do it really just to get proper looking back the way on this. So overall, this negative trend that's on the go at the minute, what's the easiest way of describing it? I think this is the easiest way of describing it. Again, using a Fibonacci and using the 236 to draw it in. We're flicking around at that point at the minute, but as soon as we kind of close 4-hour candles above 1650, things start to get a lot more kind of, you know, stable feeling in terms of the cascade ending. And this is just a cascade which I think has been manipulated into place and isn't real. So therefore, as well, I'm looking up and saying that we could easily see the prices go up towards the 618, and that's the top end of that liquidity zone, and that's what we're looking to in terms of the here and now. Really, I think that's probably the fair enough, most accurate description of where we are with regards to the pricing on this one just now, in the face of seeing EDF electricity are calling me. Sorry guys, your electricity prices are too high, and I told you that last week. Stop calling me. Yeah, came up towards the neutral line, bounced off it, you know, doing pretty good there on that one, but that's typical. That's where we're seeing this happening just now in this 15-minute time frame, and we're looking for an overall turnaround. If you were managing your risk really tight on this one in terms of trading it in the here and nows, I'd probably be looking down there towards $16 in fact as well, actually, and saying that this here is enough for today, and I would sort of hang back until tomorrow or this afternoon or whatever if this actually got taken out on terms of an hourly basis or something like that. Right. Anyway, scrolling back up the way just so I don't miss out on this one. Check out Lucid Tech since CCIV partnership. Cool. Okay, we could take a look at that. But there was a couple of requests that came in for things. Oh yeah. Holy Tesla, Batman. Let's take a look at Tesla. Everybody likes a bit of Tesla. You're welcome, Batman Majama. TSLA. I'm still feeling positive on this one. It's struggling right at the minute. AHT struggling at the minute in terms of, you know, finding the buyers, right? And that's okay. That's okay. You know, there's a heck of a lot less shares, and we're just gonna have to kind of like think about this and think, well, you know, is there an opportunity here if we start moving up past key levels? There absolutely is. Are people going to anticipate it necessarily? Well, there's so many things there that would throw off somebody from looking at it properly. When we're aware that they've got $4 billion or $3.8 billion worth of assets, and it's a $400 million market cap company, and that just asset stripping them alone would probably give you a 5x, you know? So there's money to be made there. Now, if somebody does try and push it down the way, then who's doing it? And I want to think that it's in fact, on this lesser known company, that it's just market manipulating by, in fact, the management team themselves. I mean, that would be ideal for me. Now, I'm not going to get too conspiratorial about it, but that would be ideal. Here's Tesla. Again, another gap on the charts. Do we need to fill in these 15-minute gaps? I mean, just looking back the way, it does seem so. Let's just kind of find some, right? Now, I'm not going to be Mr. Gap over here, but there's a gap, there's a gap, there's a gap. Let's just do it. You know, let's just kind of come up with, let's go back until such times as we find one or two that haven't been filled, okay? As well, here's a gap. Here's a gap. All of which so far have been filled, right? Let's just keep looking back the way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all filled. Let's go back. 6, was that filled in eventually? Oh, indeed it was, and it didn't look like it would get filled in immediately. You know, found support here, but we can see if I just drag this over that indeed we got it filled in at that point. 7, indeed we got that filled in as well, even though that was down there. And you can see in terms of this wick that came down, that this came down almost essentially to fill that gap in. Thank you, market makers, making it so easy for us to trade. Looking back the way, bum, 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 bum. How many more of them are there? If there's any in there, they're too small to see. I'm going to skip them for now, because they obviously would have been filled. Here's a gap here. And here's a gap here. So let's just look again at these. This gap here evidently filled as well. That one filled as well. So we've got like 100% gap fill record so far. Here's another one just here, right? Just here and here. And this is a gap over a gap. This is a rarer situation. If you ever watched my gap video where I kind of slightly criticize Alessio Rastani for his opinions about gaps and educate people about them, then you'll know all about that. And scrolling over to the right, you can see that that one hasn't been filled, okay? That gap over a gap. Interesting one, that. And that's the last, that's it. So, you know, let's call it like a 90% chance that that gap that's on there at the minute gets filled. Now, it could be a breakaway gap, and that's a decent enough exploration of that. So what will we see? Well, let's just look back again and then look at this one and see, you know, when we had the one that didn't get filled, did we have anything that even kind of remotely suggested that it was a retest of the gap area? And we did over here when the prices dropped down on the 24th of May have a kind of of test to say that this indeed was a breakaway gap. Okay, that happened then, this test. So this is something else to look out for. You know, keep your eyes peeled for this type of thing. Right, so since we have that knowledge that we've got a 90% chance of a gap fill and a 100% chance in the last 10 of looking back of at least coming in and challenging the area of the gap that was created, then I would say that your best buy price on this one, if you're going to like refuse to be patient or whatever in terms of, you know, waiting for a test of say the 50 simple and a fill on that gap, which would be kind of, you know, fairly kind of standard, would be to kind of say that you'd expect the prices to come in and retest $700. It's a round number area, a round number, big old round number, $719 at the minute. In terms of a pullback from here, from hither to thither, you're looking at just 2.83%, 3% move to get that to happen. So is it possible? Well, it certainly is. What do we have then? Let's say, well, now that we've got that thesis kind of outlined, is it possible? We've got highs in here that were higher than before. So, you know, there we have an idea of that there's no bearish divergence. So we've kind of done enough in terms of TA to be able to afford a pullback to that area and confirm it one way or the other. Over here, in terms of the RSI, similar sort of setup compared to our previous area. Looking back the way, you can see that of course we're higher than our previous highs, which all had bearish divergence running into them, and we came in and did a test of the 50 simple, putting in ultimately a higher low before pushing up the way. Right now, this is bullish. Would I personally buy into it at this exact buy price? Well, no. But this is obviously bullish price movement over here. So 4-hour time frame then, therefore, did we fill it in the 4 hours? No, we didn't. So that's another sort of confirmation for us. Have we retested the 50 simple since the golden cross on the 4-hour time frame? No, we haven't. Okay, so we haven't done that. Have we got a higher low in this movement? No, we haven't. What was the former movement? The prior trend before was low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high. Was a downward trend beforehand. We've taken out one so far, so we've got one high in, which happens to be like a higher high if you want to talk about it like that, because of course we have the overall upward movement, which that was indeed higher than, and therefore where could your lows come in at? So let's just then do another Fibonacci on this one to give us an expression of that over here. This is a low and that's a high, for example, just looking at this on the 15-minute time frame again, as we were before, and saying, well, you know, being really circumspect about things, you'd be looking at 710, and then of course the 618, where does that come in at? It comes in at that gap area for a retest of that gap. It's just slightly lower than where I'd looked at, 695 for that one. So that'd be that from that time frame. 4-hour time frame over here on this one, you're looking probably going to have to measure in from these lows. Am I right? Yeah, I've been at this a while. Statistic, I'm probably right on that. Then up here, so what is it you're looking at? And oh, the 236 comes in and actually does fill in that gap. You know, if it were to come in down, fills in the gap, but it comes all the way down. You could see a retest of the 50 simple. If we were to see the 50 simple simply dimply get along these sorts of lines at this point, then you would see a retest of that, and that would be a good entry at that price point there. So that's where we are. But holy Tesla, Batman! If this just runs and runs and runs, then fantastic. How high could that go? Well, let's express that with yet another Fibonacci tool. Okay, so from again the highs down to the same sort of lows. In fact, not quite from those highs to that low. Whoops, just that low in there, in hither to thither. And from that high, there was a 618 where we had before. Down the way here, we've just come up to the 50% line. Can we push as high as 745 and then retest this area thereafter? We certainly could. I'd be kind of, you know, anticipating a pullback at 745 if we don't get one in the immediate here and now. So would I trade with the momentum on this one? Maybe, but it's not my particular cup of tea. Not my particular cup of tea to do that. Not really. I prefer like the look of the GME chart in terms of this little movement so far that we've seen really overall, right? So like I prefer the look of that, generally speaking, in terms of health and therefore calculable momentum as well. Right, sweet. That's pretty freaking awesome, all of that TA, and really fast. How are we doing here? 5 minutes past 3. We're out of time, ladies and gents, right? We're pretty much out of time. So I'll just see if I can see what else there is in here. We got a couple of requests that came in. There was one from K King. Where was that at? Where did you say it again? There you said, take a look at Lucid Tech since CCIV partnership. Let's have a wee look at Lucid. Lucid USDT, right? Or wait, Lucid, where the feck is it? Oh wait, this group here. Oh, aye. Sorry. Kevin, you're suggesting a stock and I'm like looking for crypto. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So we're just here challenging this high, and that's clearly at the 236 Fibonacci retracement point as well, as it happens. Come on. Bing. So obvious, right? Is it getting to the stage where this is obvious for you yet? I mean, I try and make it obvious, right? When I say so often that you don't really need the Fibonacci tool, you don't really need the moving averages, etc., that you can see these things for yourself, I'm sure as a human being that you're starting to get the impression that you probably can, right? And here we have it, and we're right at that area. Nice, good turnaround in the market. A little bit of a wedge structure with this movement. Hidden bullish divergence is certainly reassuring. Nice to see on the chart there. The volatility zone kicked in a couple of times. 5-minute chart though, so I'm not going to get too wiped out by it. But in fact, you can see that they've already also been satisfied as it happens. Did we see any on bigger time frames? Therefore, I wonder. Over here, we certainly did, and that hasn't been filled in yet. So there's your easy move. I mean, I would anticipate us going up to $25 at the minute. It's $24. It's not a massive movement, but coming in for a 50% Fibonacci retracement, as is so typical in markets and so frequently seen, would be also filling in this liquidity zone type of sort of little 15-minute square up that there was the question about right in there at that 25.35 price point. Of course, you know, the resistance in here at 200 is probably to be anticipated as being real. This kind of wedge that we're seeing here could easily the magnet tool really annoys me sometimes when I'm trying to draw in patterns, because specifically because I like to draw in patterns wrongly. It's one of my sort of things as a technical analyst. Like that there is perfect for me, right? It's perfect. And I drew it off to the side and then moved it up. That was perfect for me. I'm not going to be one of these people that uses the magnet tool to draw in diagonal lines. That's crazy. Anyhow, up here you have the so could this keep going up and push up and test the 200, come back down, and then fill in the gap that it created today as part of this wedge structure? Did it create a gap today? Actually already filled in the gap, so forget that idea. But you know, could it do it in terms of the natural oscillations in the markets? Yeah, sure it could. And then could we also then kind of, you know, just do it and slope up towards the 50% area? Not quite. Could we get a statistically less likely breakout towards the top side? We could. We're not getting, you know, hidden bearish divergence on this double top area that we're at, just in terms of this section, you know, the 30th of July and the 2nd of August, you know, last Friday and today highs or whatever. Are we got that or not? Like there's not that hidden bearish divergence there. On the RSI there certainly is, however. So it's worth bearing that in mind, that there is that hidden bearish divergence. Who gives a shit about that though? This is an upward trend in this little section here, and we're looking for a turnaround, and it's a counter trend move from the macro down the way there. But what about the actual macro as well? The actual macros, yeah. So we're right inside a massive range anyway. Let me actually just look at this bigger here. Oh, we're just inside this zone, and this isn't the story. This is the story. And we're retesting the 236 at the minute. Well, that's a buy, right? I mean, this is a buy. This is a buy. Now, if we do, obviously, you want to manage your risk accordingly. Up to you how you do it. Are you looking at the 200 simple? Are you looking at that wedge? Are you looking for a breakout from the wedge? And if we were to push past the measured move area of it, those two things are the same thing, by the way. But I'll just kind of demonstrate that for you real quick here. So, you know, are you looking at the 200 simple? Are you looking at the wedge and asking about breakout and continuation from it? Are you looking at just to your prior lows? What way are you managing risk? Do you look towards the market low here on the 19th of July, or this wick, which was obviously a nice big buy up wick there, kind of giving you that bottom candle? Actually, so often bearish candles these, by the way, but I actually think candlestick pattern analysis is 90% bullshit, but 60% bullshit. So yeah, anyway, so these ones here, you've got 2 stories with every sort of wick like that. That was a nice one. So are you looking down here to 22.22 and saying, well, if we take out the wicks of this low area, I'm not wanting to sustain a move there because there could easily be another 10% move. Is that how you're looking at it? Because it should be. At the meantime, of course, I'm anticipating the move to 25, and then of course the overall finding support at the 236, and then coming up and challenging the 382 with nice chunky moves there, an extra sort of 20%. That would be decent. Nice one. Cheers for that one, K King. Cool. That was pretty awesome. So what else do we have here? I do stocks as well, just not as much as crypto though. Lol. Yeah, I know exactly. We met through crypto, and of course I do stocks and forex and all sorts as well. Queen Bee, how did you first find out about POW? I'm always curious when people hear their various stonks. Well, Queen Bee is a gun enthusiast. She just says there, I'm a 2A advocate and gun enthusiast. There we have it. Somebody who invests in what they like. This is a common story, a very common story, a very, very common story from investing. If you are familiar with a company, you don't need to see it on Wall Street Bets, buddy. You don't need to see it on Bloomberg's website, or doesn't need to have news articles, etc. You can know a company yourself and know a product in an industry and be familiar with it and take that knowledge in, and then look at the technicals and the charts and make a decision off the back of that, based on what you like. Very, very good things. Like the first kind of story that I heard about that in terms of anecdotal reference was to do with John Sainsbury's supermarkets in the UK, Sainsbury's, and talking with somebody who was talking about the analysis of the stock and that, and saying that they were in the supermarket with their kids, and their kids said they hated it and they didn't like it, and they went to a different supermarket and the kids said to them, this is much better, and they could hardly tell the difference, but they were like, there's something on this, there's something here, and they kind of felt that there was something shitty about them, and of course then at that point they were looking pretty crap. And if you looked up at the charts, and the charts were looking pretty crap, and they were going through a period of contraction in their markets, while other supermarkets were actually capturing that market share. And it was a good time to look at not an industry-wide play, where you're actually looking instead at the divergence between a big player within a sector versus another, and thinking, where's the better play here over the next wee while? And of course, that was a good one. Likewise, you can do the same with pow, 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 pow. There was a good play to be had there with that one. It was quite interesting as well, so it was a good trade setup. Let's not get all America on Scotsman's stream, please. Oh yeah, no, you can all talk about how you don't like guns and all that crap if you want. I don't give 2 shits. The thing about it is that I actually respect what the fundamental basis of the American Constitution is, and it's up for all you Americans out there to debate it amongst yourself. You can do it here if you want to, but you're not going to win anything. Nobody's going to say well done, and they're certainly not going to have any political change. So what's the feckin' point? And besides, I can tell you right here that Queen Bee is a very, very good person, and I don't give 2 fucks. Right, so that's where we have it. Sweet K King, ha ha ha. Native Flight, I love that. What did Native Flight say? Let me just scroll up and find Native Flight. Where are you talking? Native Flight, ha. I'm a warrior. I'm here for the fight. Let's give these hedgies wedgies. Yeah, let's give these hedgies wedgies. Nice one. Excellent. Sweet. Quality. Tony, right. Boom. Rocky's right. That will also help you hodl. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, everybody. Hey, Tony. Good to see you, man. We should do that collab. I'm now feeling a lot better. Let's discuss it and do that collab. Man, I'm looking forward to it. Love you, brother. Right. Cool. It's passed. It doesn't go into effect until September 1st. Ooh, I wonder what that is. I wonder what's passed. Let's see. Constitutional carry in Texas starting in September at Queen Bee. Oh, interesting stuff, right? Cool. Anyway, look, the fact of the matter is that we're amongst what is a fundamental thing here, regardless of anybody's opinions about anything to do with legislation, for crying out loud, right? Is that I can say that everybody here, sorry about the amble, that everybody here is really a really fantastically good person, a really good person. Everybody here, a really, really good person from all different sorts of walks of life, regardless of their own color, creed, beliefs, anything else. And that if you want to then, if I catch anybody else debating with somebody else on some sort of notion that perhaps they're not a good person based on some opinion that they have, then I'll just ban you, and I don't give 2 shits, even if you're a high level Patreon. Anyway, right, there we have it. Right, nice one. So we're done here, ladies and gents. We're done. I've done some hella good TA, right? It's really, some of it's good. I know it was because I felt good doing it, but I actually can't really remember how it went. It's all short-term memory shit for me. But we're done. Brilliant. Bringing up myself full screen. Ooh, across my legs. Ooh, stretch my back. Hydrate. Scrunch my hair. Yeah, no, nice one. Relax. So, Sanjo Kojak says, observe thyself. It's just when you carry without a permit. Oh, you can carry without a permit. Oh, you can carry without a permit. I think people should probably have permits for guns. But of course, you're talking about open carry permits or closed carry permits. Who gives a fuck? I don't know. You know your own rules. Basically, you do your own thing. You do your own thing. It's all good. It's all good, right? Epiphany, it was awesome. Great stream. Epiphany, thank you so much. Brilliant. Excellent. Luke, thanks, Rocky. Thanks, Luke. Ronaldo Moreno crushed it. Thanks, brother. Fantastic. I wonder if you get that same feeling, you know? You look back and you're like, I've just done a set. I'm not entirely sure if you can't really know objectively, but you can know how you felt during it and that you felt pretty positive and it's pretty good. Well, I think that I carried that through from the start to the end of the show here. I am positive about pretty much everything at the minute. Maybe a little bit less so about SPY. I don't know. Maybe a little bit less so about 10-year Treasury bonds and stuff like that, but pretty positive overall. And I'm seeing the technical analysis just continuing to work day after day after day on every single thing that we look at, including cryptocurrency, is just wonderful. It's wonderful. It's fantastic, and it's a pleasure to be part of this. Really well done, Bud, says FU Money. Great guy, good channel, by the way. Be sure to check out FU Money's channel. And, of course, he is Discord in the Discord, just so you know. Sorry to dox you, pal. Great guy, fantastic member of the community, of course. Queen Bee, I am not getting into the conversation in this chat. Ha ha ha. I like the POW stock. That's it, lol. Yeah, same here. I like the POW stock too. And you don't have to, Queen Bee. Because, like I say, I know you're a good person, and as does everybody else. Look, you can debate anything you like with anybody out there, but if you want to go out there and actually debate with somebody who needs that debate, then do that, and you'll not find them in this chat. You will not find the person who needs that debate in this chat, so just don't bother. Right, AMC says Matthias says. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Matthias van Riebeck. What do you see? Let's just see it. AMC. Let's just look at it 2 minutes before we go. This here triangle pattern still ongoing. Looking to see if we've got a resolution to it. Yes, we could have looked at it before, but fake out territory on one time frame just quite often becomes the larger picture on a bigger time frame, and here we are here still within this. We're at the apex. We could see a move soon. We know the clear areas up and above and below in terms of support and resistance. We're going to get excited a lot more. I mean, we got decent time frame closures above 40. We're going to get depressed a lot more when we've got decent time frame closures below 34 and 26 really specifically, but that's a big movement between those two, so I'd be holding back on trades at 34 until we get to until we get down there. And indeed, if we did actually just find a turnaround, I'm not going to cry on missing some knife catch there, because there is not a knife catch to be had there unless it happens randomly because somebody pushes a button somewhere out there in the world. The only thing I'd be looking to would be the previous lows down here at 31, or indeed 32 if that's where you wanted to look for one, but that's fake out territory from the triangle, so we've already covered that. Really, I'm just talking about 34 in terms of managing your risk and being prudent in your trading, right? I think I might have missed 2 super chats there as well. Let me just scroll up the way and see I didn't miss any more. Yeah, cool, sweet, how we're doing here. And I'll just get up the old stream labels thing. I should have had that open earlier in case I missed any donos. I am a despicable human. I kick cats, make babies cry, short sell GME, and all kinds of other stuff. That's real bad. Yeah, Daniel, you want to be thinking about some of these things. Rocky Outcrop, I've been reading The Way of the Turtle. Can you tell me how your own trading strategy differs from the one explained in the book? Oh man, right, well, okay, last couple of minutes of the chat. Am I on full screen now or not? I am, cool. Oh shit, I didn't show the AMC charts. There, by the way, AMC, there's that triangle. bigger time frame, small triangles one way, moved outside to fake out territory, bigger time frame, still got the same pattern on the go, fake out territory being important. There's your 34 line there. There's the 34 line, like I was saying, it's orange. You could look down towards your prior lows at 31, 32, but you know, there's like, that's all fake out territory that we've kind of covered the chat from that. If you are looking for the move down the way, then you're looking down towards 26. Buying into momentum towards the top side would be better, preferable than trying to catch a knife. Look out for bloody fingers. We're at the apex. We could see a move fairly soon, right? There's that one, GME. Double bottom area here. Can we see this prevent it from turning into an Adam and Eve? For instance, will we actually be able to take out our previous highs in here? If we come up towards 175 and then come back down again, you're looking at that and thinking about Eve type structures. You know, you can flip reverse this and say that this is obviously pushed up towards those highs. If this was a positive looking chart at the minute, then I'd be saying still as well that I'd anticipate a pullback down the way. And of course, then overall here you can say that the same sort of thing here with the downward movement. I'm at least anticipating some sort of movement up the way, and I would like to see us challenging 180s, 170s, etc. I'm going to start to feel a lot more positive about this in terms of where we could be headed above 160. You can see we're obviously right here in the part where we're sailing it, you know, against the wind, and of course, you know, the boat's up on the side and the wind and the rain's in your face, and that's the way it is. But that's how we are. That's what we do. This is where we are. We know this. We don't operate with greed. We don't operate with fear. We don't operate with any of those things. We anticipate markets coming towards areas where, of course, they have a big deal of pain for people to go through, but we're not in that group. You know, that's where we are, and then we're going to kind of be able to anticipate movements with a lack of emotion on there. So yeah, right, back up to the big screen then, because I've done my wrap up on those two, and we can say, what way does my trading strategy differ? Well, so there's some significant ways. That guy looked at the Donchian channel. He only ever looked at things in terms of, look, he was the best trader, the guy that wrote that book, but he also did some fundamental mistakes. And as such, in terms of his trading, the way that he then ended his trading career was when he left the area where he was trading with other people's money. He made a lot of money for himself, but it was all based around the commission. Now, he wasn't actually qualified either to trade with other people's money, so it was a private firm where somebody was giving him the money to trade with. And that's great and everything, because had he wanted to do so, he could have gone on to then get all the qualifications he needed to continue to do that for other people elsewhere, but instead himself, he became fantastically rich. Then he invested in his own companies that actually then just went bust, and he ended up with no money, and then wrote the book after having tried trading for a while and being unable to do so due to a lack of risk management. That's also true, right? It's also true. He anticipates drawdowns. The biggest drawdown that he experienced in his account in 1 year was something in the range of around 80%, before then going on to still overcome that and put in the biggest profit in his trading group that same year. Quarterly on quarterly, he performed really well, but he was looking at massive term time frames and not really looking at anticipating and trying to manage risk. Instead, what he would do is simply portfolio manage and get into hedged positions across different assets that were decorrelated in amongst the, to work on a portfolio management basis. These are all differences between how he trades and myself, although I do look at a little bit like that at times in my own trading, but it's the more discretionary basis. Again, a key point here, discretionary basis. One of the main things about his trading strategy was that you had to take every single opportunity that came up in order for your statistical edge to be a reliable statistical edge, because if you miss that 1 in 10 where it works for you, then you might have to go through 20 to get a 1 in 10 chance. And that was kind of his philosophy. Whereas I'm far more discretionary in my trading. Another thing about him is that he used the very, very, very long-term Donchian channel breaks for his trading. Whereas specifically when I look at Donchian channels, I look to see the closing of the trade of the session above the previous Donchian line, not simply just to go up and challenge the line or go higher. I'm looking for a closure there above it, and then at the time of the closure, I'm looking for a better value entry. I'm a more patient trader than he ever was, and even though he traded on a long-term time frame and had to sit through massive drawdowns in his account, and would have considered himself to have been highly patient and hence the way of the turtle, I would consider myself to be much more patient in terms of actually waiting for better, more prudential, better risk managed entries. Those would be the headlines about how we're different. Philosophically, we look at trading almost identically, though. When I was reading through the book, I was thinking, my word, in many ways, this is like reading an autistic version of myself. There's so many things he says in that book, which I cannot dispute in any way. I would say that with the greatest respect for autism and autistic people, etc., that the guy I don't think actually is autistic, and I wasn't meaning that in a slur. I only meant in terms of the spectrum, in terms of how he looks at things in a far more mechanical way. Perhaps he even is on that spectrum himself, and that's one of the reasons why he was so good. He actually is somebody as well, it's a massive distinction between him and myself, is that he started off in the world of trading much in the way that Mark Douglas really thinks is the ideal way to start, with an open and positive mindset and a belief set that it goes along the lines of, if I do as I predict and what I want to do, and I stick to it, and I have a strategy and a system, and I work at it religiously, then I will be good in the long run, and stayed positive throughout in the face of very negative movements against some of the positions he'd taken in his account. Another thing is that he went full risk on immediately and maximized out all of his position sizes immediately every single time. Now, that was it was concurrent with running with his strategy, that they both went hand in hand. That is indeed an implicit part of his strategy, whereas that's certainly not really how I operate myself, okay? Especially given that I'm more prudent on my entries, whereas he would often open up an account or a trade on a position and then find that he'd gone in full on the position at the time, and then had to sit down a period of drawback over the period of the next month where he could have got a better set of entries. Now, for him specifically, he knew that if he didn't do that and he waited down the way, that the conditions would change, his psychology would change, and he might not take the position based on the reasoning of his strategy in the first instance, and therefore ultimately miss out on what he had been doing before, which had been successful up to that point. Therefore, we go in fully anticipating an inability on a human level to be able to actually commit and follow through with the plan after some time had gone by. So there's another difference there between us, and it's totally and absolutely fine. Many other nuanced differences exist as well, such as the guy's more inclination and fascination with mathematics and statistics, and therefore as well everything that goes along with it, like drawing up tables and putting out information into them and stuff, which I really find more or less abhorrent. And he did that. So there's lots of stuff there that I think is like kind of on that more logical framework. Maybe instead of saying the word like the A word, I should have said he was more like Spock to my Captain Kirk. While the fact is we were both on the same mission and absolutely both subscribed to the same set of rules. Much love to everybody that tuned in today, okay? I really do appreciate every single last one of you. I'm just going to do the reverse roll call and bring up the credits right now. It's a pleasure doing these episodes with you all. It always is. I love expanding everybody's knowledge out there and helping everybody with what they do in the trading and the world of trading. And I think that it's a wonderful, beautiful community. And I see the likes of, for example, Tony, who's been in the chat here today. Big shout out to him. Definitely check out his channel. Who's a member of the community who helps to try and lift others up as well. It's a beautiful thing. Likewise, you see the same with FU Money, who's doing that, and as well you see the same thing inside the chats as well. You don't actually have to run a YouTube channel to help people. People do it on a one-on-one basis consistently inside the Discord. So massive thank yous to people, lots and lots and lots of them. You've got engagement coming in from I Am Not a Cat, from Stephen S, from D Harker, from all sorts of people, even newer people in there, Troublemaker, etc., asking questions and putting out information and data points for people to kind of coordinate discussions around. Big shout out to all of you. Every single contribution, whether that's a question or an answer, is massively valuable and appreciated. And therefore, let me as well say thank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you to Lepton Inc., Sunjo Kojak, it's good to see you, mate, Daniel Lesage, Calipidgeon, Epiphany, Christie, Bad Mama Jama, Thank you so much as well to JT858 for becoming a member. My goodness, I forgot to mention that at the time when it came through, if that was there. It's on the credits, so it must be. So thanks so much. And as well, thank you to Algo for that donation as well. I missed you when I first read it that time. And then thanks to everybody for tuning in here as well. Trade Spotting, thank you so much. Native Flight, thank you so much. Ashley, great to see you as ever. Thank you so much. You got a run, I got a run, we all got a run. Wild Fox 500, thanks Rocky. We'll watch this in full tomorrow. Well, that's beautiful. Katie, lovely to see you. Observe Thyself, all the purple hearts, thank you so much. Super interesting, Rocky. I want to read that book. Well, that's cool. That's great. I take that as a compliment. It's one of the better books, I would say, but also at the same time, it is a fairly dryly written book. You know, it doesn't feature massively up there in terms of that pure engagement that you get, or the escapism into a world where you're learning. Actually, you know, you never truly escape back out of again, which is what is pure, which is how I would describe the operations of a stock, reminiscences of a stock operator. The Jesse Livermore story is an absolutely fantastic one, and like I say, it's pure escapism as you're reading it. It's fantastic, but it's a world that you'll never escape back out from afterwards. Supernova Chow, thank you so much. Stephen Kimbler, thank you so much, and thank you to Kalakala 1337 Gaming. Thank you to Kay King, Shane McGovern, Katie Babes, Observe Thyself, Scotty Sniper, Epiphany, Lepton Inc. Aaron, good to see you, Aaron, mate. Smug Slug, Jiu-Jitsu Guy, and Native Flight, Tony Wright, Queen Bee, Papow, Eddie B, love you, love your mushrooms, Space Banana, Simone Cooper, good to see you here as well as in the Discord recently, and all sorts, everyone, Christy, all the Christies, like all three of yous, Corey, Duo, Maxwell, Shepherd Unicorns, and all my good friends. I'll see you in the next time. All my favorite colors, my sisters and my brothers. See you next time.